Eala falls to Wang Xinyu in ASB Classic semifinal. The 20-year-old Eala displayed her resilience before ultimately succumbing to Wang. Dubai, Filipino tennis star Eala saw her impressive run at the ASB Classic come to an end on Saturday, falling to China's Wang Xinyu in a grueling 3-set semifinal marathon at the Manuka Doctor Arena in Auckland. The 20-year-old Eala, currently ranked number 53 in the world, displayed her trademark resilience before ultimately succumbing to the 7th-seeded Wang, 7-5, 5-7, 4-6, in a match that lasted more than 2 hours. The defeat marked a bittersweet start to the 2026 season for Eala, who entered the tournament following a historic 2025 campaign that saw her break into the WTA Top 100 and capture her maiden Southeast Asian Games gold medal. A battle of momentum. The opening set appeared to be slipping away from Eala as she fell into a 1-5 hole, struggling to find her rhythm against the 24-year-old Wang. However, Eala staged a remarkable turnaround, reeling off 6 consecutive games and capitalizing on a double fault from Wang to steal the first set, 7-5. The momentum stayed with the Filipino well into the second set, where she established a 5-3 lead and stood on the verge of her first WTA 250 final. Wang, however, regained her composure, winning 4 straight games to level the match and force a deciding third set. "That was a crazy battle from the start to the end," Wang said after the match. "Alex is such a fighter and I feel the pressure even when it's 5-1 up. She just relaxed and she started to play amazing tennis." Physical toll. The physical demands of the week appeared to catch up with Eala in the third set. Trailing 0-3, she took a medical timeout to address a back issue. Though she returned to the court and fought back from a 0-4 deficit to bring the score to 4-5, Wang found the finishing touches needed to close out the match. The loss capped a busy week for Eala in Auckland, which included a straight sets quarterfinal victory over Poland's Magda Linette. Earlier in the tournament, Eala and her American partner Iva Jovic also exited the women's doubles semifinals following a 5-7, 3-6 defeat to the Chinese pair Xu Yifan and Yang Zhaoxian. Eala later reflected on her campaign in a post on Instagram, writing, "Till my heart stops. So close yet so far," before thanking the host city for its support. "Thank you Auckland for the warmest hospitality to start the year. Truly felt the Wairua," she added. The Auckland sky hung low and undecided, as if it too felt the tension of the semifinal afternoon. The stadium buzzed, not with noise, but with anticipation, the kind that settles into the chest and refuses to leave. On one side of the net stood Wang Xinyu, tall and composed, her presence calm and assured. On the other stood Eala, fire in her eyes, youth in her stride, and a nation's quiet hopes resting on her shoulders. For Alex, the ASB Classic had already become something more than a tournament. Each round had been a statement, each swing of the racket a reminder that she was no longer just a promise for the future. She was arriving now. The semifinal was not merely a match, it was a threshold. From the opening game, the contrast between the two players was clear. Wang played with the patience of someone who had been here before. Her shots were deep, deliberate, and heavy, forcing Alex into long rallies that tested both legs and lungs. Alex, in response, played with daring, stepping inside the baseline, taking the ball early, refusing to be pushed into caution. The rallies stretched like conversations that neither player wanted to end. Backhand to backhand, forehand to forehand, the ball traced white lines of possibility across the court. When Alex struck cleanly, the crowd stayed, sensing momentum. When Wang absorbed the pace and redirected it with quiet precision, the air seemed to tighten. Alex fought not just Wang, but time itself. She was playing against experience, against the subtle knowledge of when to press and when to wait. Errors crept in, not from fear, but from ambition. Each missed shot carried intention, the kind that says I believed this would work. Between points, Alex bounced on her toes, eyes fixed on the strings of her racket, as if answers might be hidden there. She adjusted her grip, took a breath, and stepped back into position. There was no resignation in her posture, only resolve. The second set told a familiar but painful story. Wang's consistency became a wall, and Alex kept running toward it, determined to find a crack. When she broke serve, hope flared like a sudden sunburst. The crowd leaned forward. This was the moment. But tennis is a game of margins, and Wang guarded hers fiercely. She broke back with ruthless efficiency, her returns landing just out of reach, her calm never wavering. Where Alex burned, Wang endured. As the final points unfolded, the scoreboard told a simple truth, but the court told a richer one. Alex chased every ball, slid into corners, and swung as if the match could still bend to her will. And in that effort, there was beauty, raw, unfinished, and honest. When match point arrived, it came not with drama, but with inevitability. A rally, a forced error. And then it was over. Alex stood still for a moment, absorbing the silence that follows applause. She walked to the net, shook Wang's hand, and offered a smile that held both disappointment and respect. Loss had found her, but it had not defeated her spirit. As she left the court, racket tucked under her arm, one could sense that this semifinal was not an ending. It was a chapter. She had stood toe-to-toe with a seasoned opponent on a big stage and refused to shrink. She had learned, endured, and competed. The ASB Classic semifinal would be remembered as a loss on paper. But for Eala, it was something else entirely. A glimpse of the player she is becoming, shaped not only by victories, but by moments like this, where the line between falling short and moving forward is as thin as the chalk beneath her feet. And somewhere beyond the Auckland sky, the future waited, patient and certain that Eala would meet it again.